Oh, look, it's you, my very favorite Engen Pitch Polish fans. I'm your host, Aldrin St-Pierre, and I have an exciting episode lined up tonight as we reach the half-point mark of round 2. Well, I thought the first round was stressful with eliminations every second episode. The second round though, with eliminations every single episode. Man, it's a lot. Let's take a look at how things are standing right now. Last week, Zunaid of Master Consulting Services and Mzingisi of M Games, who are both from the Western Cape, went head-to-head with Mzingisi taking the laurels and securing a spot in the semi-finals. He joins Moses from Green Kid Enterprise. This evening, we'll learn which of the remaining 2 contestants from the blue group will join them. I can't believe that there are literally only 4 pitches to go before we reach the semi-finals of the 2023 Engen Pitch Polish competition. And may I just say that I've been having an absolute blast. It's been wonderful meeting these entrepreneurs and becoming part of the happy Pitch Polish family. And it's thanks to our generous sponsors that both you and I get to enjoy this journey together. So let's give a shout out to our title sponsor, Engen Petroleum, our co-sponsor, Netbank, and our program organizer, Race Corp. By now, you all know the drill, but just in case, I'm still going to remind you and any newcomer about our viewer prize giveaway. Tonight, one lucky viewer will walk away with a 5,000 Rand Evo Super Shop voucher from Netbank, but you have to be in it to win it. And if you want to win it, you need to pay close attention because you'll have to answer a question about tonight's episode later. Are you ready? Good, because it's time to get pitching. Back from right here in Gauteng, let's welcome Vutomi Lubisi from Yuli's Cakery. Good luck in there, Vitomi.
Welcome, Vitomi. How are you feeling?
I am nervous.
Are you nervous? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
Hello, judges. My name is Vutomi, the founder of Yuli's Cakery, the author of the science behind baking, the sales and marketing guru, of course. Do any of you love cakes? You look like you do. Did you know that most bakers, they struggle to find places where they can buy their ingredients? Especially bakers who are based in the rural areas, villages, and remote areas. With that being said, according to the South Africa's Chamber of Baking, there are 47,000 bakers in South Africa who are based in the rural areas, who run their small informal business. At Yuli's Cakery, we are in a mission to supply at least 20% of those bakers with our baking ingredients and tools. And we don't want to stop from that. We also want to supply them with the skills and the necessary training that they need to run their baking business and make it a lucrative business. And we are going to do that through our digital teaching and via the ebook. With the 650,000 that you want to offer, we would like to use some of it to import our own stock internationally so that we can give our bakers competitive prices and disrupt the South African baking market. And we would like to use some of the money to open our own e-commerce one-stop baking shop that it will help us to build the baking community. And we would like to use some of the money to actually do what we are known of.
Thank you, Vitomi. Okay, let's start with you, Monique.
It's lovely to see you again, Vitomi. Tell me, do you employ any staff or is it just you at the moment?
Currently, I'm only by myself. But from the beginning of starting this company, that's why you hear me say we. The vision is bigger than me, just that I was still not yet in a position to scale. But I am currently ready to scale the business to the next level. That's why I have moved even from teaching bakers live and I'm moving it to digital because I'm trying to free myself in running the business myself. So when I do that, that's when I'll be able to even employ others, especially when it's coming to the actual baking and when it's coming to the admin and dispatching of the parcel to the bakers that I'm referring to.
Yeah, I think it would be great for you to release that dependency on yourself. Just the second question, you say that you are targeting bakers in the rural area. From a data perspective and a Wi-Fi perspective, how are they accessing your online courses?
They access me via social media, which is Facebook and WhatsApp. And currently, I'm working on automating my WhatsApp because I have seen that if I post some of my posts on Facebook, in a day I can have 100 bakers inquiring. So I'm currently automating my WhatsApp so that it can ease the buying process.
Thank you.
Because
Vitomi, great pitch. Well done this afternoon. So tell me, in your business, what is your biggest challenge?
Currently is the funding because I would say last year alone, I've made a revenue of 500,000. However, I'm only offering like 15% of what the bakers need. So most of the time, the people that I buy from, they are protecting their suppliers. They don't allow me to just walk in and buy stock for 5,000. So if I want to come and buy from you, you tell me that for you to get a stock price, wholesale price, I need to spend 15,000. Then from Elon, same thing, and from you, same thing. So you find out that I have challenges to source all the stuff that I need. That's why I'm saying I'm only supplying like 15%, and as an entrepreneur or a supplier, it's not nice to turn down sales because you don't have this. Next thing, you don't have that when the baker come and say, okay, I want these 10 items, only to find out I have 6 items because I don't have enough funding money to source other stock from other supplier at the stock price.
Excellent, thank you.
I understand you want to distribute into the rural space. Is digital the only way you're accessing the bakers, or are there other ways that you are accessing the bakers?
No, I don't reach them only in a digital way. I got this other program, I call it City to City Baking Tour. Like end of July, I'm going to Kuruman. I got 10 students there. I'll be teaching them how to make wedding cake. There are some of the stuff that a student will say, I don't know how to make a chocolate ganache, which is something simple where it's mixing chocolate with cream. So we can do that online. But something like teaching someone to make a wedding cake, we have to be in contact.
You spoke about importing. What quantity will you need to import in order to make it cost effective to import?
What I'm planning to do, because I am currently importing, but what I'm currently importing is the plastic cutters, like the cookie cutters and the molds. So I want to start importing the actual ingredients like your chocolate and your flour. And that needs, like I've planned that if I can win the 650,000, I will use 450 of it to buy those ingredients.
Vitomi, thank you. You may leave.
Thank you.
All right, so once again, a great pitch.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you think she improved, or she was the same or worse?
I think she did improve. She always blows me away with her marketing. Like really, she's got such a well thought strategy, and I often think like she could be teaching other business owners how to market. I do think that she has thought through her pitch better this time. Concerned though that I haven't heard around the financing and the funding and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
She called herself the sales and marketing guru, so it just bears reference to what you're talking about there, Monique. Yeah, no, the pitch was perfected. I think she covered a lot of bases. I definitely could have done better with the finances, but I just find it amazing as well that she's so much at ease when she stands there. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
I felt that she even went a little bit backwards.
But why? Because, I mean, we asked her about her target market and how she's going to get there. She clearly articulates that she's thought about, even though, yes, there is a problem that she is the key woman dependency in her business. Why do you feel that way? She's touching her target market online and physically. She knows exactly what her needs are.
Yeah, I'm not saying she did a bad pitch. I'm saying the last one was better than this one. And the reason for that is I felt that her argument in the first pitch was stronger than the argument in this pitch. So she led us up in the pitch was, here's the opportunity, here's how I'm solving it, and this is why you should believe me. And I didn't have those three steps in how she presented today. Yes, there's the market, and she spoke about the market size, which I loved. So I thought, okay, we're on our way. And then she goes, and this is how I solve it, okay? And then there wasn't the last piece that was missing is, and this is why you should believe me, which is always substantiated by the numbers. That third piece didn't come in, so she didn't lock it in for me. That's why, whereas the last time I felt I believed. This time, I still believe, but she didn't communicate it. So if this was her first pitch, this would have been worse. I wonder if we would have had the same interest in her as we did in the last one. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Having said that, she's still great. It's not. But finances again didn't come through. So. But what an entrepreneur, and I wish I could learn from her in terms of that marketing stuff, how to, get people. I love the fact that she also had another route to market. I thought maybe she's just sitting there behind a laptop and she's marketing, but she's thought through going to Kuruman to go and do 10 students. And then of course they become her buyers. Yeah. All right, but that's just my opinion. You've got your opinion. You score, I score. Let's score.
Vitomi, second time in the pitching oven.
Yes.
How did you think it went?
I was nervous.
Yeah.
Because, I know how they just can grill you. But anyway, I'm glad it's done.
What do you think from the previous advice that they gave you, you were able to incorporate this time around?
I'll say because previously it was a compliment about marketing. So I had to keep on adding it so that they understand that I'm still upping my marketing game.
Yeah, I have to say I found the city-to-city initiative quite refreshing as well, because this is the first time that we're hearing about it, but you say it's not really new.
Yes, because last time we only got 90 seconds, and sometimes it depends with the question that they ask you. So you don't want to find yourself answering questions like a politician going there. You want to be direct. So that's why I bring up the city to city this time, because they have given me that opportunity to bring it up.
So two aspects of the business. There is the baking part of the business, but then there's also the supply of the raw material, including the ingredients as well as the molding and so forth.
Yes, and the teaching part.
And the teaching part and the teaching part. So you say that some of the stuff you want to import, including some of the ingredients, how would that change the business?
It will drastically change it because it will be like the scaling that I've been needing in the business. And it will literally disrupt the South Africa baking market because currently bakers are buying their stock at a very higher price. So that's where I want to come in and actually save those who are in the rural areas because their disposable income is just too little.
And you might just end up not even just selling to the people in the rural areas, but even urban areas as well. All the best, and let's see what happens.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for talking to me, Vitomi. How will our next pitch stack up? It's time to find out. Stepping up to the mic, here is Tshireletso Mokate of Camping Retreats, who is also representing Gauteng. Best of luck, Tshireletso.
Tshireletso, welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling?
Bit nervous, but I'm ready.
You're ready. How nervous?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit, right? I understand that just before this you had a moment in the bathroom.
Absolutely.
Okay, are you okay now?
I'm okay now.
You ready to pitch?
I'm ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
Good day, judges. My name is Tshireletso. I'm the Tourism Entrepreneur of the Year. 6 years ago, I founded a company called Camping Retreats with the option of trying to convince my wife to like camping. Today, Camping Retreats has established itself firmly in the market as a leader. We've hosted over 8,000 campers. We've traveled across the country, and we employ 18 permanent staff members. Our sweet spot is that we provide 5-star food in the bush. We've invested over 200,000 Rand of our money towards this. This continues to give us a competitive advantage in the camping scene. We host 3 times more retreats than our average and closest competitor, and our customers say that they would have never tried camping had it not been for our service. We are the only camping service that has got a deluxe offering, and we did so in order to meet a market of people who would like to pay a little bit extra for a bigger sized tent and a shower. We've enjoyed tremendous amount of growth in double digits figures in our social media, our bookings, and most importantly, revenue. With the 650,000, we intend on investing 46% of it towards acquiring our second truck. We want to spend 30% towards establishing our repair, manufacturing and maintenance division to lower the cost of repairing our tents and to lower the cost of manufacturing our merchandise, which we sell to the same campus. We want to upgrade our booking system, our website and our CRM to give our users a better online experience. And lastly, we want to add on to our deluxe offering, which has quite a demand for us to add one more product that will allow us to increase the price significantly. Thank you.
So that's a well done. Yeah. That wasn't so bad. That was actually quite good. Let's start with you.
Thanks, Tshireletso. Definitely a good pitch. I just, as you were speaking, I was asking myself, with the double-digit growth and all the progress you've made, what are the prospects? What's the thing that can get into the way of you even getting better or continuing to get double-digit growth? What are the risks just lurking around this business?
Internally, space is quite a big thing for us. The business, every time it grows, it demands us to move to bigger premises, demands us to invest in more vehicles. We've got 7 vehicles now. Every year we seem to upgrade the size of our truck. We've got trailers that break all the time because the business grows. And the growth element is a good and a bad thing because we cannot grow to buy additional tents if we don't have space to store the tents. We cannot go to buy additional equipment if we cannot transport them in the right size vehicle. So at the moment, I would say that the growth of the business, if it's not allowed to grow will end up getting us to be stagnant and staying where we are, where the market needs us to provide more options.
Thank you.
Monique?
Great pitch, but I just want to tap onto the truck story. So you said you're going to use the money to purchase another truck. But if you don't have space at the moment, where are you going to put that truck?
So at least the space issue is solved. We've got a bond approval for commercial property to move to a much bigger premises. So in the next few months, we'll be moving on to that. So space at the workshop is sorted for now.
So that particular challenge that you're facing now, you feel that with the new premises, you're going to close that gap?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just another question on my side. From your customers, your current customer base, how many of them are returning customers?
10% returning customers. There's a reason why it cannot be more, is because some return more than 2 times, and some do not want to do locations they've done with us before. So they tend to wait for new locations that we go to.
Okay, thank you.
I see in your application you came under the name Rox Media.
Yes.
Tell me the story. What is Rox Media?
Ooh, I don't know if you've got time. So I started a company called Rusty Rocks back then. It was an entertainment business, never done before. We were a website, and we were in Rustenburg. We were in charge of, we were the influence of Rustenburg at the time. We were in charge of pushing the entertainment scene on our website, featuring locations and so forth. I ended up going to corporate because obviously I was a little bit young and my experience was not good, but I kept the name, Rox Media, Rusty Rocks.
And then you spoke about your revenue growth. Just give me a sense of what your revenue was in 2020, 2021, 22, and so on. Just give me, I need to see it.
I'm going to ignore the first year because it was quite insignificant.
Yeah.
We started in 2019 to do 3.2 million per annum. 2020, COVID, we did 3.5. 2021, we did 3.7. 2022, which is last year, we did 6.2. And this year, we're projecting 9 million based on current performance.
Great. And to follow on with Monique's thought pattern, what if you double your business, if you go to 20 million, what's the thing that's going to break first in the business?
If we double our size of our business?
Yeah, what's the first thing that's going to break in the business?
Other than the equipment?
Yeah, other than the equipment. Which department, which part of the business is going to hold you back?
Honestly, we've had to deal with the kind of capacity that we have now. It just needs us to add one more resource in order for us to handle a 20 million rand business. For example, in 2021, we didn't have 18 employees. We had only 7. We made a decision to invest in a kitchen, which we employed 7 more people. And we increased our staff from 7 to 18 now. We also had to increase the setup team by another 2 more people. And so it's easy for us to scale to that level.
Great.
One more.
Sure.
One more. So I hear you around the space, I hear you around the people, but you said you can't accommodate so many people because of the campsite dependency. People don't want to come back to the campsites that they've been to. How would you solve that problem?
Well, part of the space issue we face on the other campsites as well, like you mentioned, we cannot go to smaller campsites like we used to anymore because our company is much bigger now. We have a 5-year plan that we want to own a piece of land, that we're going to set up a permanent camping structures there. They will be able to control the space, we'll be able to control the offering, including the activities that we outsource. We'll be able to set up permanent camping retreats at that particular location, probably one of the popular locations like Drakensberg, where we get that. At the moment, it's a matter of just negotiating with our current partners. We've got a very good relationship and partnership with Sandparks. We've got a nice footprint across South Africa. They're willing to give us some of their unutilized space and campsites in order for us to make use of.
Thank you. You may leave.
Thank you.
Right, Sipkazi.
Quite eloquently said. A lovely business that he's running there. I just wondered about, he speaks about current performance translating to about 9 million this year, which is what quite a significant improvement. And I just wonder what that is in the context of the current climate in the economy. Has that been taken into account? Because there's so many things that are just coming up as a hindrance, for your regular consumer. Disposable income is challenged at the moment. So is getting up and going camping, or getting away, it seems like a luxury these days. So it'll be interesting to understand how he overlays that as the year continues.
Yeah, that's one way. The other way to think about it is the people who used to go to a hotel now
Will
going
start
to so it also depends which way you look at it.
Sure.
Yeah. Monique, your
I
thoughts?
must say, when he started talking about the annual revenue, and I thought that it sounded like reasonable growth that was taken. Then he had that massive spike, and he didn't explain what had caused it. But I suppose it was just the aftermath of lockdown, and people wanting to escape. So yeah, it's a very interesting business from a business owner perspective. He seemed a lot more subdued today, and not as enthusiastic and convinced about his offering. But I think he's got a fantastic offering. It's
Yeah, for me, that's, I mean, Arache, I think he's going to hit the first scale issue now. When the business has, let's call it, where they think about multiple sites on one weekend, that creates complexity, which although he thinks a lot about his business, I think that's going to create a lot more friction. And I found his answer to my question quite weak, actually, when I said, what's going to break? And yeah, I don't think he maybe doesn't know. He hasn't thought about what's going to break with this growth. And you see these businesses, they go like this and they just hit the ceiling and then they just collapse down. And I'm afraid that if he doesn't think about that, he might be, unfortunately, one of those businesses. But I think he's a great entrepreneur, and hopefully he becomes aware sooner than later. But let's go and score.
Tshireletso, once again, I have to say that balance sheet that you speak of is quite mind-blowing, and also taking into consideration that you already have a 5-year plan. Very intriguing. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's very important to have a 5 short-term to medium-term plan. And that's very important when you analyze how the business is performing. You have to start thinking about those sort of things.
And when you then grow or focus or invest rather in the maintenance part of the business, how will that assist?
It will assist a lot. At the moment, we've got a high cost of tents that we have to repair, and if we have to outsource the repairs, there's labor charges, there's transport, and there's so forth, and it becomes expensive. So if we bring that in-house, we'll be able to manage the cost of repairs. Also, we'll be able to manage the turnaround time to repair these.
Yeah,
that's quite important.
Then you spoke about the 10% returning customers. You also spoke about a brilliant relationship, a good relationship that you have with SENParks. Does this mean that if SENParks, for instance, says that, sure, this is the site that we have that's available for you, does it mean that they'll be the only site that you'll be focusing on?
No, SENParks, in fact, is giving us a footprint across the country. They're trying to solve our problem of us running out of campsites that can fit our capacity. So they say, we are the vehicle to use. Use us, we'll give you discounts, we'll give you preferential things that we do for you, and we'll support you in the journey of doing that. So.
Shucks, man, you should have told them that. You should have told them that it's not specifically about one fixed site, but it's actually about SENParks, which is, of course, across the country, and various sites that are owned by SENParks. But let's see what the judges say, and hopefully you do make it through.
Thank you so much.
And you're going to represent the blue team, yeah?
Of course.
Great stuff, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you again, Tshireletso. And talking about talking, let's go listen to whatever I'm able to get out of the judges before they head into their deliberations. Judges, I am back again. I'm not pitching, as you know, but I have to say though, watching Tshireletso as well as Vitomi, I was very, very conflicted. I think that they were very strong, both of them. Sipokazi, I don't know if you'd agree. If you
Totally.
know from the top of your head, and you don't have to mention who it is that you'd be voting for, but from the top of your head, just looking back at those two pitches, how difficult it must have been during the deliberations.
It's difficult. It's a hard one. But we're going to have to make a choice. And once that come up, we'll know.
So Tshireletso speaks about his business starting off in 2020. He speaks about a revenue of just over 3 million rand, and 2023, that's all the way up to around 9.5 million rand in revenue. Is that convincing?
Yeah, it's certainly grown. His income statement's grown quite significantly. But I wonder what's happened. The other questions are what happens to his margin. And you heard him take on an extra 7 staff. An extra 7 staff is a huge amount of cost. So my question is, what's happening to his margin as he's growing?
Yeah.
Because very often in businesses, when they scale, their margins decline, and they actually make less profit when they're making more turnover than when they're smaller and more contained.
And unlike any other of the other contestants, though, he's the only one who actually spoke about a long-term 5-year plan, whether you say it's short or medium term, but it's actually a 5-year long-term plan. Does that work?
Yeah,
having that in place.
Well, let me say something that you might or might not infer from. I don't believe that that's a good 5-year plan. And I can pick it up in a way that he's solving problems that are happening now, which is great. But he's not. I'm not getting when I ask the question, what will break?
Yeah.
If you double the business, it wasn't really a great answer, which tells me he's not thinking properly about that 5-year plan. What happens when he goes to 20 million and 40 million? What happens then if he can get there?
Yep. Monique, Tshireletso speaks about staff complement of around 17 people. Vitomi is the only person. She is the owner of the business. She runs the business, and she's the only staff member. What did you make about how she answered that question that you had for her with regards to going forward and being the sole person running the business?
Yeah, I do think that there's definitely a key woman dependency risk there, because she is, doing everything to keep all 6 avenues of a business or income streams going. So she's going to really have to start thinking very quickly about how she's going to upskill not only her local sort of production line, but also the extended rural reach that she needs to get to. Her traveling out to go and do a workshop for 10 people, how profitable is that?
Yeah. And for anyone who's actually watching this show right now, Monique, Alon, as well as Sipokazi, with regards to that particular element, when it comes to having so many streams, when it comes to Vitomi, what would your advice be to such a person?
Look, looking at our financials, each stream is bringing in an income. So from an entrepreneur perspective, if we had to say, listen, rather focus on the higher pitched items and bundle the higher pitched items, in her instance, that's probably a good idea. But from an entrepreneur's perspective, I'm not going to close off the tap for where there is income coming there. And as long as it's not draining you and taking away from your core functionality, then I'm of the opinion that continue the streams. And in her case, at least it's exactly the same field. It's not, where she's dabbling in different kind of fields.
Alon?
Yeah, it was a good pickup, Eldon. Exactly that is what business is she in, is sort of my question. And yeah, it's one of the things that will mark her down.
Yeah. Sipokazi?
I feel a little bit differently, because it seems all the work that she's doing is kind of a spin-off of each, whether she's selling product, whether she's teaching, whether, in whatever platform as well. So I do also think that, if she focuses on the stuff that's going to give her biggest bang of her buck, it's also a good thing. But I feel like they don't really clash. They complement each other and support those streams are supporting each other. And there's an opportunity for her to just strengthen that. I think it was also great that she has got plans to sort of begin to start getting support. And I think the quicker she does that, the better for her.
As ever, I'm glad I'm not the one deciding who goes through to the semi-finals and who goes home. And while our learning facilitator, Yasmin Ali, certainly knows what she's talking about when it comes to pitching, I'm pretty sure she prefers commentating rather than making life-changing competition judgments. Here she is with her next pitching lesson.
Thank you, Aldrin. One of the fundamental principles of any presentation in any context is to know your audience. Depending on who your audience is and why you're pitching to them, you will likely need to vary your pitch somewhat. Technical audiences want technical information. Finance audiences want to know how the numbers add up. You get the picture. A mistake we often make is assuming that our audience is also a specialist in our field of expertise. We throw in jargon and technical knowledge that goes completely over their heads, as was the case in the pitch of Zunaid Pillay from Master Consulting Services. Zunaid delivered a highly technical pitch. Even during the questions and answers, he kept coming back to this idea of kilowatts and megawatts, and all the while, the judges' faces clearly showed they were drawing a blank on these terms. Zunaid also used a tone of voice that felt forced rather than conversational, which is what prompted Alon to ask him to just speak. No notes, no reading, no memorization, just talk. Now, we all know that the energy crisis represents a massive opportunity. But if you are in a technical field like Zunaid, you need to bring this to your audience's frame of reference. Let's listen to Monique from Nedbank commenting on how he was just too technical to understand.
Yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah, there have been some really exciting breakthroughs in terms of renewable energy. So I think the sector that he's in is an important one. He's clearly a technical specialist and not necessarily an entrepreneur. So he needs to get to the point where he understands his business, because we've asked it a couple of times, what do you need? He talks in megawatts, he doesn't talk in rands. You know, it's like how much does that actually convert to? What does it mean?
Yeah.
You know, the fact that he's already with the City of Cape Town, the fact that he's in schools, the fact that he's in houses, there's something there. But he needs to be a business owner. He's a technical specialist at the moment.
So today's pitching principle is pitch to the people. Talk to them in terms that they understand. In this case, investors want to hear about the money-making or scaling potential, most often communicated in rands and cents. Equated to things they can easily generalize and relate to their own lives. Make it easy to understand, and your audience will be eating out of your hand. Back to you, Aldrin.
Some great insights. Thanks, Yaz. And speaking of insights, I believe it's time for us to learn the fate of tonight's two contestants. Let's join Vitomi and Tshireletso to find out the judges' decision.
Vutomi, Tshireletso, welcome. It's that time where we have to do what we do as judges, we have to judge. So let me follow the sequence that you came in. Vutomi, on the positive side, you spoke about the size of the market, and as an investor, investors like to know there is a big market out there, and you brought that across quite strongly. What we were particularly impressed about was that you had thought about multiple channels, not just digital, but also, you know, a strategy of going out to various parts of the country and picking up clients in that way. So a multi-channel strategy. What comes across very strongly with you is how great you are at marketing, and I even wondered if you could train marketing, you're so good at it. On the negative side, for me, the finance, the numbers didn't come through strong enough. So you were telling a story about there's a problem, you've got a solution, but what was missing from me is the story of how the numbers back up the story. So that would have given me confidence that what you're saying is authentic. Not that I don't believe you, but the pitch has to convey that. And then maybe something that we don't all agree about here, but my view here is that you're in two businesses right now. You're in a training business and you're in a distribution business. And I know the two talk to each other. You do one for the other. But it's not clear for me which one is the lead, which one leads the way. So that needs to come across more strongly in your pitch. So if you get through to the next round, that needs to come through very strongly. Tshireletso, from your side, a great pitch. I don't know what the nerves were about. You're great. You're great in front of the judges. We think you're a deep thinker. You think very deeply about your business. And that's very important to scale a business. There's a strong sense of humility in you, and humility is a proxy for the ability to learn, and any entrepreneur that has the ability to learn has the ability to grow. It feels like when you have a problem, you deal with the problems as they arrive. You've got that ability to solve problems. You're a great problem solver. Also, an incredibly important thing for a growing entrepreneur. But on the other side, I personally don't believe that you've thought around scale strongly enough. The complexity that comes with scale and the ability for scale to actually damage your business. That some businesses, when they grow, and they grow too quickly, actually make no money. They've got a nice turnover, but they're making no profit, and they certainly have got no cash. They've got big cash flow issues, which that means you spend your life going to try and raise money instead of building the business. So I think that's where you need to focus a huge amount of your time. And the thing that disappointed me mostly is you didn't talk about the demand. What I was trying to understand is, where's the demand coming from? How have you must have different types of people who are coming on your campaign. You spoke about a little bit about that in your first pitch, but you left that out now. So you left the demand side out of the pitch. And as an investor, I want to hear about demand. You're speaking about you supplying, and the supply issues, but you weren't talking about the demand. And that didn't come through strong enough. So if you get through to the next round, that certainly has to come through. But one of you is not going to get through to the next round. To date, so the way that it works here is that we all we go and score, and we put down our scores, and then just to sort of see how we feel. So I turn around to Sipokazi and say, who do you think won? And Sipokazi goes, I don't know. And then I go to Monique, who do you think won? And she goes, I don't know. And then I think, well, who do I think won? And I don't know. So we had to wait for the scores to come back. And the scores are incredibly, incredibly close. Like, so wafer thin, as they say. But the scores did speak about a difference. And the person that's going to be going home today is Vitomi. You may leave. Tshireletso, well done. Please take everything that we've said to heart. Watch this again. Work with your guide to close all the gaps. And we'll see you in the next round. Well done. You may leave.
Congratulations, Tshireletso. I'm so pleased for you. And Vitomi, I'm so sorry to see you go. I hope I'm not starting to sound like a stuck record, but it is really getting harder to say goodbye to these contestants as I get to know them better. But I know that Vitomi is going to take what she's learned throughout this process and use it to make her business grow from strength to strength. Earlier, I asked Nedbank if I could have tonight's ever Super Shop voucher because of the emotional trauma of saying goodbye to another contestant, but they said no. Something about viewer prizes being for actual viewers. So I suppose this means it's time for our viewer competition. Here's tonight's question. What was the judge's main concern with Vitomi's pitch? What was the judge's main concern with Vitomi's pitch? To enter, simply WhatsApp us at 068 707 5187 with your name and the right answer. Make sure your entry is in before midnight tonight to get into our random draw. We'll reach out to the winner before 5 o'clock tomorrow and also post the name on social media later this week. And that, my friends, is that. Next week, we'll be finding out who our fourth semi-finalist is. I really hope that you'll be joining me again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Until then, it's goodbye from me, Aldrin St. Pierre. And as always, I'll catch you on the pitch side.
What can I say? The competition was tough, I could tell myself. So whatever decision they have taken, I believe it is the right one.